Welcome to Educating the Human Potential, the podcast about optimizing education for a better society. I'm Biff Mayer. Oh, through a Montessori lens. Sorry, I forgot that part. I'm Biff Mayer.
And I'm Nicole Coman.
And today we are thrilled to have Mary Carmen Sullivan, who is the director of the Horizons program here at Lexington Montessori, and Maelis Borges Sanchez, who has been a student at Horizons and also a student here at Lexington for a while. And you're going to tell us the story of Horizons, this kind of a heroic story.
So to start, Horizons is a national program. Is that correct?
Yes. So we belong to an organization that is called Horizons National. And Horizons National has 71 affiliates. It's typically, independent schools that are interested in doing something for their community. There are a couple of schools that are public schools and few charter schools. And Lexington Montessori was the first Montessori school in the network. Now we have another school that is in Denver. But so, yes, 71 sites across the nation.
And can you tell us a little bit about the mission of the Horizons program? And it's only for the summer, which I understand, correct? So tell our listeners a little bit about kind of the mission of the program.
Yeah. Well, the mission of the program is to prevent academic loss during the summer months for students. And the target community is students from underserved communities. So what we offer is a 6-week program, which goes from the, almost the last week of June to the end of July, beginning of August. There are some sites that can offer 10 weeks, so it depends on what works better for the school. But at Horizons at LMS, we do 6 weeks. And, through academics in the morning, which are rooted in Montessori philosophy, with teachers that are Montessori trained, we provide the academic support to students. And we do same as we do through the year, which is meet the students where they are academically. We tend to see that, that some students are behind, and because of, in our case, particularly with Horizons at LMS, we have a population that English is not their first language. So their first language tends to be Spanish. So for some students, the gap is a little bit greater in some areas. So we meet them where they are. We provide the support that they need, the academics that they need. And it's not just academics. Academic is the biggest portion in the morning. Then the afternoon, as Horizons National, one of the missions is for them to learn how to swim. So we provide swimming lessons Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And they also have other extracurricular activities, right? So in our case, we have farming, which is a very robust program for Horizons at LMS. We have art, farming, swimming lessons, field trips. We are doing coding and rock climbing for our students. Yeah.
So I think one of the really interesting parts of this story is the generosity that you have received from the community. How do you go about connecting with these people that have been so generous in providing programming and providing services to the Horizons kids?
Well, that's a great question, because Horizons at LMS started 12 years ago. So in 2015 was the first time that we started with 13 students. Right now we're at 84 students.
Wow.
And it started with a number of generous people who want to create the program, and we're committed to the idea of, giving to people who are less fortunate than others and need more support during the summer. So it really is it's self-funded. So we need to find people who are willing to contribute to the budget for Horizons. So it's a number of donors that are independent people, individuals. We have a couple of foundations of people that have learned about Horizons and they help us. We also have people like Wegmans had donated this year. The Cambridge Savings Bank has been a big donor for Horizons at LMS. And the Waltham Council, Cultural Council also become one of our donors this year. So, but it's about creating a network, of people. So the more people that knows about us, and not just about Horizons at LMS, but at Horizons National, the bigger the outcome and the bigger the reach for us. So it really would rely on who wants to donate for Horizons, because everything really comes from whatever families donate or individuals donate or foundations. So it's a never-ending work. We ask our board members to help us spread the word, and every place we go, we talk about Horizons at LMS, and it really goes by word of mouth to talking with other people. Because of the current administration in the country, we were not able to be benefiting from food from the YMCA, who was previously donating to us for the students. So what we did was to reach out to the community as well, to Waltham, because the majority of our students are from the Waltham town. And we have a number of restaurants who said, we are going to donate food for you. And so we have Gustazo, we have Sweet Basil, Pho and Spice, Waku Waku, the Inn at Hastings Park in Lexington. They are donating, breakfast every single day for 6 weeks, a number of lunches. And all these restaurants had said, we are going to give you food for the students.
Incredible.
These kids eat like kings and queens.
So we are
they
eating,
do
and
eat very well.
trying the world, right? Like, so it's not just, the generosity of these people or these restaurant owners. I also forgot Mistral in Boston too. They are being very generous and giving us food. But it's not just, the food, which was delicious, right? But it's also about you get to experience, other food from different countries, right? Gustazo's from Cuba and Pho and Spice is Vietnamese. And then you have Waku Waku and Asian Experience and Mistral, who's more a high-end kind of food, and they send us delicious food. And the inn is a combination because the owner is from Puerto Rico. So she sends us, food that is, going to be appealing for the
And
students.
she comes sometimes to cook with kids, right?
She actually is inviting our middle schoolers to go to the inn to cook with them. And, it becomes all the life circle of a Montessori program, which is, practical life. And they are learning about cooking for 84 students in a, commercial kitchen that is totally professional. You can talk more about that, Mayulis. But, they are learning not just, cook, but they also are learning about the nutrition facts, right? Like why it's important to eat well and how can we identify what are good things of sources of nutrition for our body and what are best choices to make. But it's also, just having that connection and that relationship with the owners of business, right? That
and the community.
Exactly.
So what do you think it is that touches their hearts so that these people respond so well? Is it you or is
It's them, it's all about them. When I started working for Horizons, the first thing I did was to teach in the program. And I'm Latin American too. So obviously when I came and everybody's talking in Spanish, it's just your heart melts, right? And you want to be here because they're talking to you in Spanish all day long. The children are just amazing. Not because you're here, but they are truly amazing. They are grateful. It's a community that is very tight. So once you come and learn and experience who we are, and just come into the classrooms and see what is happening in the classroom during the day, see the vibe, see the community, see them interacting with each other, and knowing that there is people who cares about them beside their family and beside the school district, right? It is magic here. Like you come here and it makes you feel like, okay, I'm at home. So for me, that was what it drew me there. And then you start sharing that with people and they're like, okay, I want to connect with that. And then you invite them to come and see. We have a breakfast on usually, like the third or the fourth week of the program. We invite our donors to come and see and experience what is happening. So when you first see it, it's like you cannot say no, right? To donate or to participate or collaborate, volunteer, work with us.
Or even speak about the program with other people in the community to share. What an incredible experience, especially during the summer for kids that, who knows where they would be if they're not in school, So, Mayelis, yeah? Tell me what's your favorite part of the program?
I would definitely say like the pool, but also I would just say like the whole experience of like also being here during the school year and being here during Horizons, like seeing the difference. Like I have like friends in both programs, and I feel like it's just like the experience of like getting to know other people from different schools. And like since I also went to public school and like I transitioned to private school, it's like also like cool to see like the difference between our learning, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big difference between your
Yeah.
learning in public schools versus the Montessori program.
Mhm.
So tell us your story a little bit. How old were you when you first came here with Horizons?
I think I was in second or third grade, somewhere, either first or second grade. I don't really remember. But I remember it started off because my brother went to this one of the bus stops, like that school over there. My brother went to that preschool, and at that time, Horizons was like, inviting that school to our program, like the Horizons program. And my brother, my mom signed him up, and Maria Veronica, the head of the program at that time, she said that she like basically invited me to also go. So me and my brother both started that year, and then we kept going for 3 years until we got invited to come here like regularly. But I would say the first year, it was definitely like a huge difference because at public school I was more used to seeing like everything on the board and not actually interacting with any of the materials. So when I came here, it was definitely different because we were using things like Stamp Game, and I'd never heard of like anything that could possibly help me like do math on with my hands. So I feel like it was very just like new. So when I actually transitioned here for like the school, it was also very different because I felt like everyone had like a very close connection with the teachers, which definitely like I was not expecting that at all because I always saw my teacher like as a teacher, and obviously like I still see my teacher as a teacher, but like I feel like I have more trust, and I don't know, it was kind of like difficult to take in. And um after that, I just kept coming to the program, and like yeah, that's my last year.
It's your last year this
Yeah.
year. And as a student, is
Mhm.
that right?
Yeah.
And are there opportunities for you to come back and work within the program now that you're graduating from it?
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking into being a volunteer because I feel like this program has been like a huge part of like growing up because I've been here as long as I can remember, and I feel like it's made a huge change in like the way I see like a lot of things. And I also like seeing like all the volunteers that come here and like do everything, and I feel like I just enjoy like being here and like being with like little kids and stuff, and yeah.
You're a great student. I mean, I know that you're a great student, and I'm curious about the impact you mentioned a little bit, the impact that being in the Horizons program during the summer had on you as you before you started enrolling at LMS, when you were going back to your other school. What impact did it have when you went back in September? Where did you have a different attitude about school at that point, or?
Yeah, it definitely made me more excited to like do certain things like math. I definitely did not like, or I feel like I've always liked math, but certain topics like ELA, like when you would do like stories of like, I just remember the specific one, like stories of like frogs, and like I would like make my own story, and it was just like it made me like look forward more to things because before I was just like, oh, this is school, like once I get home, like
Yeah.
it's just like the same routine. But I feel like it definitely made me look at school. Like school doesn't just have to be boring. Like it can also be something that to look forward to. And it's just like the program like helped me like see it a lot.
Are you extraordinary in that way, or do you think that that's it? It has the same kind of impact in most of the other kids that come to Horizons.
I'm not really sure, but I feel like we all have similar experiences. Like I know when hearing Nathaniel's Council of Elders speech, it was like a speech that we did about like our like basically our life, and he mentioned that like he had also like never seen anything like Stamp Game before, and it was like I feel like we all most of us most of the people that go to this program do come from public school. So I feel like we all kind of have the same experience of like being at a desk all day and like listening to what the teacher's saying to like actually interacting with your materials and everything, like having everything in front of you. And I feel like we all have like the same experience in that sense.
Can you tell me a little bit about the application process? So how does one apply? What does that look like?
So it is a little bit challenging to get into the program because for us, it's very limited, the spaces that we have, because we follow the Montessori, model. So when once they enroll, they commit to come to us for 10 years. If you start at 3.5-year-olds, which is when we start initially, so you commit to that, and because the parents see the benefit and the students are happy coming back in, so they commit to 10 years.
That's a huge commitment.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, unless a very significant circumstance happens,
Sure.
right? But most of the families had come for 10 years. So we can track, who they are. We follow their progress. We have some academic testing at the beginning of the summer, and at the end of the program, we test the students. But it makes challenging as accepting students once you enroll, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody keeps coming. So spaces usually do not open up unless somebody moves from town or something like that. But usually we accept students when they are 3, and that happens because we have a collaboration with Creative Start in Waltham, and so most of our students come from there, and that's a funnel to come in. The way we evaluate who's coming in is not based on academics; it's based on need. So it's depending on the income of the family whether they can attend to the program or not. Yeah, because we want to help anybody. As academics had no barrier to come. It's more like we want to give it to people who really needs the support.
And it's such a testament, even hearing Mayela speak about it. If you talk to kids about summer, you think, I don't want to do school, and you're speaking to kids like, oh, I'm going to sign you up for this summer enrichment program. It's going to be kind of like school. Most kids would be like, that
Yes.
doesn't sound fun. That sounds boring. I just got out of school. But hearing you speak, it seems the complete opposite. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I feel like a big part of it is definitely having people around you who make it fun. I feel like having friends and the counselors themselves, like having teachers too. Like I feel like we've known them for such a long time that like it just becomes fun. Like everyone, and like I speak Spanish. Like like my first language is Spanish, and it's just like like Mari Carmen said, like just seeing everyone speak Spanish is just like really, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about the sort of code switching that happens for kids who are here during the summer and speaking Spanish all the time with their friends, and then you come back in September and there are a few people that are speaking Spanish, but it's back to a different kind of community. What's that like for you?
It's definitely not a challenge for me because in school, in the regular year I speak English, and when I come home it's Spanish, so I feel like I'm just used to like switching. So I feel like it's not really like a major struggle.
Can you tell me a little bit about the research behind the model and for Horizons National? Who came up with this? What was the idea beyond, limiting, the learning lag that sometimes comes with summer for students? So
Yes, well, it started with New Canaan Country Day School, and that was in Connecticut. And the head of the school, so, like the need to help people around the school, right? Because when you go to the public districts, you can see the difference in between the support that you get during the summer for some students, or, like tutoring, or, any other help that people with the means to do it, and the difference into what is the impact on the long term from these students. So he started by thinking, I don't remember the name at the beginning, but it was not Horizons National. It had another name. And they started with New Canaan, and this is like 30 years ago when they started doing, a little bit over 30 years ago when they started with New Canaan. So what they did was just to look at schools and talk about, like, we're going to offer this program that is free of charge. And it was meant to be directed to people, usually recent immigrants is who needs the most support. So he started by that and thought, like, well, we can open our school, right, to offer this opportunity for students who can otherwise afford, as a camp that is academic and, like an enrichment. And it's all based on what was the research back then into what was the lapse that you have in between, stopping school in June and then coming back in September. And what the research was showing was something about like 2 to 3 months of lost. And when they come to Horizons National, we were gaining between 6 to 10 weeks of academic, progress with them based on what they were doing before. So they are gaining academic based on what we are offering in each school. And it was based on that, like understanding that depending on the demographics, students were lacking of the support and were coming behind at the beginning of the school year. So everything started from there.
And what are some outcomes that you've seen from the program? I imagine they're collecting data to show that the model works.
Yes.
So can you speak a little bit about that?
More attendance during the year. Regularly the students attend to school more often, less absences. They graduate from high school with, or higher high school graduation levels. More paths to go to college and more support, because also the network kind of helps students to go and continue with the path, which that by itself, right, has a huge impact, not just on the child, but in the family by,
Well, I just want you to tell a little bit of your own story about, well, I don't know. I mean, I think watching you cook for this entire community in the morning is just an experience, because you can see this is, it's not like you're the chef of Horizons, but you're in there preparing food for children that you love. Yeah. And, my perception of it is that what drives you is I need to give children food that really will nourish them. I want them to have what they need. And it's inspiring. And then you recruit these people that come and work around you. So there's this crazy energy of caring for all these children. That's really wonderful to see.
I don't even know what's happening yet, but I want to come for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is it has to do with a cultural thing, because I am from Mexico and my Elis is from the Dominican Republic. And I think we all evolve around community and food, right? For me, food is a driver for me. And they actually kind of make a little bit of fun here at LMS with me. And they said that I'm a raccoon because I say, if I see food, then I want everything from everybody. But, and I think that the main thing is I want something that tastes good. It's something that is going to remind me of my roots, right? And then because we have a high Latin American population in our Horizons affiliate, and I think it will be happening for no matter who you are feeding, right? But we share that root, and then I wanna give them something that I know they're gonna eat and they are gonna enjoy when they are eating. So food for me is not just nurturing the body, but it's nurturing the soul, right? So it's nurturing who they are, and we kind of connect with that, right? They try molletes and you haven't tried molletes before, and that was a Mexican, breakfast, which is bread with a little bit of butter, beans, cheese, and a little bit of, tomato and onion soup. Salad, sauce.
She's selling it short.
And
right?
I just, but there is joy for me to cook when I know they are gonna eat and they are gonna eat something that they love. So it brings me happiness, So I think I'm driven by food, but it's a Latin American thing, It's we go because we want to have food and we want to have good food and something that everybody is gonna enjoy. And once you talk about feeding people, that's the part that I also have noticed, that when you ask people to donate or to work or to collaborate and you talk about, we want to feed the children, everybody's there. It's yes, let's cook what you need. What can we buy? So it becomes something that it really kind of put us together.
But it really is a cultural thing because, initially in the early years, I remember you got donations and it was food, but it was not food that anybody really wanted to eat. And that's what drove you to start cooking. You said, no, I'm not putting this in front of children.
Yes. And I thought, because, if I wouldn't eat that, why will I feed them there? Especially to children, right? When you want them to grow strong And that was, yeah. You're
Yeah, so it was
absolutely-
almost a gift in a way
Yeah.
when you no longer
like,
got the gift.
no. Yes.
Are you also teaching them how to cook some of these dishes?
I haven't taught them because when I am doing the cooking is at my house. I do it over, from the night to the morning, or I wake up around like 4:30 and I start cooking to come and bring them the food. But
You
if
didn't
they
know that?
tell me what do I do, I'm happy to share my recipes with them, and I'll be happy to teach them. But the fact that we have Trisha and comes to cook with them, it kind of fulfills that area,
Yeah.
because I would have loved to teach them. I just, I just can't, but I would love to.
So tell me the roots of the swimming. Why is it that, swimming is one of the prerequisites for a Horizons program. You have to have swimming available in order to get a Horizons program.
Well, they see it as a life skill, right? And I 100% agree. It's something that is going to keep children safe, right? So you never know when you're going to be in a circumstance that you are surrounded by water. And we had Horizons National had connected with the Cara Kennedy Foundation, and they have been big donors of the program. So they donate to all the sites, depending on the size of the site.
To support the swimming program.
They support it doesn't cover everything, but it covers a good portion of what we pay for swimming lessons. But the goal was want the students to swim 30 minutes 3 times a week. So when they graduate from the program, they are, professional or proficient swimmers. And I agree that is a skill that everybody should have. And when you approach sometimes families that cannot afford a swimming lesson, it becomes hard. And through the collaboration with the YMCA also, which have been incredibly generous with us, and they give us an amazing, support. They also had gotten donations that had offered to us to say, hey, you want to come and swim during the fall, and you can bring, maybe 30 spaces or 50 spaces or whatever is the donation they have. They open the spots for us to come on in the fall. So we open it to the families and we say, we have this grant, this opportunity, can you do it? So is I think good, and generosity is all around us. I think it's a matter of asking for it. But yeah, so swimming lessons are really important for these children.
Yeah, and is that, Mael, is that something that when you compare yourself to the other kids that you went to school with before, or that are friends of yours in the neighborhood, is it unique that you're a swimmer and a lot of them not swimmers?
Yeah. I also started off the program not knowing exactly. Obviously, I'm from a place where there's a bunch of water, and obviously I knew how to swim, but not as strong as I am now. But coming into the program and having swimming lessons definitely made me a really strong swimmer. I feel it was really helpful. And when I compare myself to other people around me, I would say that most of them just learned by themselves. They just it's not how I had it. I had lessons, and I had going 3 times a week, and that made me a strong swimmer. And I feel most of the other kids just kind of had to learn it naturally, and it was probably a harder path than I had it, but I feel yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people that really never do learn to swim.
Yeah.
They go in the water, and as long as they stay in safe places, they can
Yeah.
cool off. But if something happened, they'd be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the formal training now.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. Mayelis, if pretend a school leader, like a principal from a local school, knows nothing about Horizon, and they come in and observe the day, an entire day. What do you think one thing they're going to take away from it, that observation is?
For in Ellie, I think that in the younger kids, they would notice more hands-on, and you would see stuff on the ground. There would be rugs and stuff, and when you get to UE, there's there's definitely more hands-on, but it also gets more abstract. You would see kids working on more different things, more spaced out. And in middle school, I feel it just becomes completely abstract. We completely drop most of our materials, and I feel that's what they would notice, the amount of materials and stuff that's being used in like maybe like the lower, and then in the middle school, like probably just like how it like it all just like changes throughout like the ages and stuff.
That's a great answer. I have the same question for you, but not from a Montessori perspective. What do you think if a school leader came in just to do one day of an observation for Horizon, what do you think that they would take away or notice from that observation of the program?
I will say that the ease which the students are connecting with each other and the adults, the collaboration that happens naturally, and that the classroom is not a typical classroom, right? I know it's not focused on Montessori, but it's not a typical place where people can stand up, they can walk. If we need a break, we take breaks and we go outside and they come inside. So I think that creates a dynamic that is more natural for students to be in the classroom, right? It doesn't feel like constrained and strict. It's more with ease.
Do you think is that a feature of Horizons programs, or is that a feature of this one being a Montessori program?
I think it's a feature of being a Montessori program, because if you go to other places, you're going to find, chairs and probably one teacher with a number of students. And we are same as we do throughout the year, which is you're not sitting in a chair, so you can move, and you have two lead teachers per classroom, which makes a difference.
Have you had a chance to visit any other Horizon schools that are?
I haven't done it when they are in session, just because we are at the same time mostly.
And you're cooking.
But I want to visit Marathon, because in the greater Boston area, we have 3 sites. One is Horizons at LMS, Horizons at Dedham Country Day, and Horizons at Marathon. Marathon is a public school. And I want to visit that one because they finish a little bit after us. So I just want to see how they run the program. But But I will say that, as that and the connection with the teachers is something that
it's very different.
What do the teachers here say? The teachers who are, teachers during this school year, and then they re-up for
come back.
Sometimes 6 weeks to work at Horizons. Oh, I think we should mention that the Horizons program hires teachers in the summer. They're not volunteers for the most part.
Yeah, no, the teachers are being paid. Yes. Yeah. So we have, the classroom is composed by 2 lead teachers, 1 assistant teacher, and volunteers. Then volunteers, depending on, what level are we talking about. Sometimes we put 1 or 2 or more. Everybody comes back because the feeling that they have throughout the summer. They always said, like the community that is created in the classroom, and how grateful the students are and the families are about what is happening and what we are providing for them. It makes it. There's a difference in the environment, in the ambience, right? Like the atmosphere is different, the students are different, so they feel drawn to that. To the impact that it has, to the love and community and connection that is created in the classroom. So I have a teacher who signed for 3 weeks, and she cannot stop coming, and she keeps coming, and now she's volunteering, and it's like, I don't care if you pay me, I don't just want to come back.
Wow.
And we have, we had volunteers that come from another school where their school pays them to come and volunteer, and they give them a stipend, and they donate their stipend to the program, right? And it's just, I think it's the community that brings them back, and how it feels to be here.
How long have you been part of the Horizon program?
This is my 4th year as a director of the program. I was a teacher a year before, like a couple of years before I started. I helped in in the pre-K to kindergarten level.
Is there a student story that's stuck with you that reminds you of why you want to keep coming back? Is she here live?
My eldest is, your family is quite special to all of us at LMS. And we have, one of the things that I have deep respect for LMS as a school is because they are really oriented and focused on making Montessori education accessible to anyone. And that's why they brought Horizons at LMS. once we start suggesting we should start bringing some families that we identified, they will be a great fit for the school because of the personality of the children, because of the motivation, because, it seems like it's a great, I think we would love to bring them all, right? Unfortunately, we can't, but so we identify some people who are a great match. And one of the great examples is Mayeli's and her family. And, just seeing how they blossom here is just amazing, right? And what it means, not just for the time that they are with us during Horizons and during their time at the school, is also what it means for them after they leave here. And, one of the biggest things I can say, is that so many stories that make you want to cry for how challenging life is for some students. I think what sticks with me most is, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because it makes you think about a lot of things, but what sticks with me is when I talk to them and things, we make choices, right? And students make choices, and sometimes they not make the right choice, and they are testing and they are, challenging the limits because they are children and they are learning. And when you talk to them in a way that is with respect, and to tell them, I'm providing respect to you, and I really expect the same thing because I don't talk to you in X or Y or Z way. When you see that they are being treated with that respect and dignity, and that they have that value, and they see that we see the value on who they are, you can see a different light in their eyes, right? And you see that there is an impact that happens deeper than just the words that are happening at the moment, right? It's something that is going in the person. And we said, they ask them, are you in trouble? And we're no, you're not in trouble. We are just trying to help you to make the best choices. And it's, to see that is pretty magic, to see that potential in the child. And that's basically what we are, right? Like, is to make them feel that they are as valuable as anybody else, that they have the same capacity and possibility to do and to get farther than they think they can. So that is something that you see in the eyes of those children that doesn't happen somewhere else.
And that should be for everyone.
That should be for everyone.
Everyone. And I think what's exciting to me about Horizons being here at Lexington Montessori School is that it's such a match for Montessori education. And I'm so thrilled that there is another Montessori school that's doing this now in Denver. And I would love to see it spread. There are all over this country, there are campuses that are underused in the summer that could be used to support the community. And I would love to see more opportunities for that. And before we close, I think I want to give you an opportunity to invite people who are skilled Montessori teachers who would like to experience this to be in contact with you if they would like to teach here.
Well, they should be in contact with Ainsley, because Ainsley is going to tell them just come over. But
yeah, okay.
No. I was just joking. I think it will be great to try to, for them to come and visit us and see what it means to be at LMS. We're very flexible. I understand what it means to be a teacher, and you are burned by the year, so you want to have a summer break. But we make it very flexible. We can break it into 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They can do sometimes part-time, depending on the level that we are talking about. But mostly is come and see the energy that happens here. See what happens during the summer with Horizons, and see the magic that it is in the classroom, and how different it is to teach children that really, need some help, right? The need and the help and the gratefulness that happens there is big, and is something that really draws you to be here. And when I said about Ainsley, it's because she was here for 3 weeks and she cannot stop coming. And she's like, I want to volunteer this next weeks. And she's coming with us to do swimming lessons because she's a swimming instructor. So she has the chance to come. And she's coming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to take our kindergartners to go swimming. So, I think it's a testament of how much it changes your perspective once you see it and lived it, because you have to be part of it to understand why it's so, drawing to come to be and work for LMS.
Well, it sounds like an incredible program. And if people wanted to learn more about it, how should they, and just from a national standpoint?
Yes. So we have the horizonsnational.org that you can visit. That is the big the national organization. But if you want to learn about Horizons at LMS or any other affiliate according to the state where everybody is, for us, it's going directly to the LexingtonMontessoriSchool.org. And then if you go to the area that is community, and under community there is Horizons at LMS, you can also look horizonsatLMS.org and it will bring the website to us.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. It was
Thanks so much for taking the time. Thank you for waiting. I know you're sitting there thinking, could I just get to the pool?
She has swimming to get to. We
Yes.
need to let them go.
No, I really appreciate your coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Well, I'm loving these conversations, and I'm hoping that you all are enjoying these as much as we are.
And if so, please reach out to us, follow the show on whatever streaming service you use, and leave us a comment.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah, we love the feedback,
And I'm looking forward to the next conversation together.
as am I.
This podcast is produced by AMS, the American Montessori Society. However, the views that are expressed belong to us and to those of our guests. They do not represent those of the American Montessori Society.